This is an off-season proposal for the Mariners. Let me know how this sounds to you. He suggests Gleyber Torres signs in Seattle 4 years for $48 million. And then the Mariners trade for Vlad Guerrero Jr. for Ty Pete, Harry Ford, Cole Young, Tyler Locklear, and Emerson Hancock. And then his question underneath is this a huge send? Yes. Do you want a good farm... Let me reword this. Is this a yes for a trade? Do you want a good farm system or a good major league team?
Let's start with Gleyber here and then get to Vladdy. I'm not saying this is not going to be the ballpark of what Gleyber Torres gets in a contract. That does feel about right, that he's going to get somewhere between 10, 12, $15 million a year. Do I want to see the Mariners give him that money over 4 years? That feels like you're taking an awful gamble. Now, he is younger. He's not going to be in his mid-30s when you sign him or anything like that. But doesn't play the greatest defense in the world. That's putting it lightly. Isn't hitting in Yankee Stadium anymore. Hasn't been over the moon productive offensively. At least not in 2024. He was about league average. Are we signing up for this?
So you could probably get similar production that Gleyber Torres would bring you for less. I fully believe that. Now, consider in this scenario, your future second base options are limited, especially trading Cole Young away. I know a lot of people want to see Cole Young play at second base this year for the Mariners. He would be gone. So what else would you do at second base here? I think, Lyle, like thinking about this in the grand scheme, if you include Vladdy in this too, I would be okay with it. Because at that point, like, if you're adding Vladdy, you're okay adding salary.
Mm-hmm.
So then paying $12 million a year for Gleyber Torres should be less of an issue. And, of course, there's some other things to consider here, too, if we really want to expand beyond this. Like, you think about the money. You can make the money less if you can dump some salary otherwise, which will cost you more prospects. But this offseason outline is showing you're willing to push your chips in to win, in which case dumping that salary if you need to, like, would be something they would try and do anyways.
Sure.
So.
Listen, if the Mariners are going to try to sign a player like that, sign me up, because that means they're trying to invest in a winning roster. I know Gleyber Torres isn't perfect, but you're not signing him with the idea that he's going to be average. If you were going to give him that money, that means the Mariners believe, whether it be right in your eyes, the listeners, or our eyes, the podcasters, or not, that they believe he is going to be one of the league's better second basemen. Not an MVP, but he's going to be a productive second baseman, an above average second baseman. And I'd be all for that, because they need an upgrade at that position. So, all right. Fair enough. You're just going to have to accept that he is going to come with deficiencies and that he's not a perfect player. Maybe Perry Hill can work with him and his defense and can at least make him league average. That would help. And then if he's going to hit enough and be a doubles guy and get on base, great. I'd pay $12 million a year every single year for that. But we have to see if they're going to do it. Now, Vladdy, let me preface this with saying, you don't have to convince me about getting Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on the Mariners. If you were going to trade for this guy and you were going to give him a blank check for an extension, awesome. Couldn't be more on board. But for 1 year of him, does this not feel like a pretty heavy package to be giving up? This is more than the Padres gave up to get Juan, or sorry, this is more than the Yankees gave up to the Padres to get Juan Soto.
It is, but I'm going to guess this is under the assumption Vladdy's signing an extension if you trade for him.
Even if he is, it still feels like way too much you'd be forced to pay. Like, if he's signing an extension,
for an
great.
Extension?
Yeah, okay, but the Blue Jays are not trading him saying, oh, well, you're probably going to get him to sign an extension, so therefore you have to give us more. No, one way or another, it's 1 year of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. you're getting in the trade, and that's what the trade details will feature. To remind people one more time, what this trade says it would be is the Mariners would give up Ty Pete, Cole Young, Harry Ford, Tyler Locklear, and Emerson Hancock. For 1 year of Vladdy, that's a lot.
But if you're Jerry and you believe you can get a deal done with Vladdy, that's worth it, even if it is an overpay. Like, the Blue Jays aren't trading him with the expectation that Seattle's extending him, but Jerry's trading those prospects away with the anticipation that Vladdy stays long term.
Okay, yes, but I'm still standing on the fact that you should not have to give up that much. Again, look at the Soto trade. You're going to have to give up prospects. This is a decent amount. The 5 guys that were thrown into this package, I'd cut it in half. Pick 3 of them, and you have to take at least one of Cole Young or Harry Ford out.
I mean, I'd even do Ty Pete, Harry, and Cole for it.
That still seems like a lot.
If Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would come to Seattle for Ty Pete, Harry Ford, and Cole Young, I would do it.
Well,
even if it is an overpay, even if it's an overpay, I don't care.
I
legitimately don't.
Look, especially if you're going to sign him to the extension. Yes, I'm not saying don't make the trade, because then you're getting 8 years or whatever of Vladdy Jr. I'm just still trying to find a way that the Mariners trade for him, sign him to the extension, but they don't have to give up all of that. Because again, I don't know if you would. Now, okay, you know what? Thinking about this out loud, to be fair, Michael King went back to the Padres in that trade, and he was somewhat of a proven big leaguer. So doing some verbal processing here, there are no big leaguers attached in this trade, and maybe that's why you'd have to give up higher-end prospects. So that could be. 5 guys just seems like a lot. If it was 3, maybe more to your point, all right.
We keep telling the Mariners to stop threading the needle in their offseason plans. I'm going to ask the two of us to stop trying threading the needle for a Vladdy trade. Like, let's just do it. Do what it takes. You have to overpay? Okay.
If he signs the extension, great.
Show Vladdy how much you want him. Show him how much he's worth to you. And then he might want to stay.
Would him seeing the trade package they give up resonate with him at all? I don't think Vladdy's exactly tied in on MLB prospects.
No, but it would definitely let you trade for him.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to... Because if Vladdy's on the open market, the Mariners are not the only ones offering a prospect package. But the Mariners sure as hell want him. Yeah. So make sure that happens.
All right.
You're like, well, we gave up what we thought was appropriate value, and they took someone else's package. Like, no, go get him.
To that point, it was like the Luis Castillo trade where people said, look, the Mariners gave up a lot for him, but you had to because otherwise somebody was going to give up more or pay what the Reds wanted. And like we talked about at the time before this podcast had ever been started, if the Rangers had given up a flurry of prospects for Luis Castillo, like what was rumored because they were in on him, would we have been like, look at all the prospects the Rangers gave up? No, we probably would have been jealous, saying he's going to pitch in our division. We could have traded for him. So, to that point,
as we keep reminding ourselves, looking back at that trade, we would do it 100 times out of 100.
Well, considering Noelvi's been awful and was juicing so far, Edwin Arroyo has not been the same guy since he left Seattle's system. Yeah. Levi Stout made his way back to the Mariners system at one point last year. So, yeah.